Women's College Basketball All-Star Game. Now, I want to talk about this because this is one of those things that I think will help to improve the status of some of these players who are inserted into the draft, and also help to maybe even bring some players down off the. Now, if y'all could, please do me a huge favor and hit that like button. That really does help the channel out a whole lot. We got about 700 people in the chat. Thank y'all so much for rocking with me. Thank you. But if y'all could, please hit that like button. Again, that helps out the channel a whole lot. Hit that like button. Also hit the subscribe button as well. Okay, so let's talk about the women's college basketball all-star game. Now, as I said before, this used to exist, went away for several years, came back last year just because of the fanfare around women's basketball. Right? They were hoping that Caitlin and Angel would participate. They did not. But it's a big deal. This is a big deal where it's only available for players who have opted into the WNBA draft. Like, this is not for the best players in college basketball, because if it was, you see a whole bunch of sophomores playing in this all-star game. It's not for that. This is only for players who have opted into the WNBA draft. They are eligible for the draft and they opted into it. Okay, and there's some stuff I do want to talk about real quick about it. So it will tip off on Saturday. Hope y'all are excited about it. I will be watching it. It's going to take place in Florida. So that's something to note as well. It's going to take place at the Hillsborough Community College in Tampa Bay, Florida on Saturday, April 5th at 3 p.m. It will be aired on television. So that is something to note. And this year they have two coaches who coached last year who are going to be back, or coached in the past who are going to be back. And that is, sorry, I got a work email. That is Nancy Lieberman and Cheryl Miller. So Nancy Lieberman and Cheryl Miller will be the head coaches this year for the All-Star Game, again happening on April 5th. And it'll be fun. It'll be fun to see Nancy Lieberman and Cheryl Miller do their thing. We will see Ann Myers Drysdale serve as an assistant coach. We'll also see Cynthia Cooper and Lindsay Whalen also there as an assistant coach, which should be pretty fun. So anyway, that's the thing. Okay. Now let's get into who's actually playing and also who has declared. Trio, thank you so much. Trio 7, thank you so much for the super sticker. It is a thumbs up. I appreciate it. I appreciate your support. Thank you. Okay. Now, here's the deal. I want to talk about this a little bit more. And before I do, I want to share with you the players who are playing in this thing. So, for Team Lieberman, we have a pretty nice roster. We got a pretty nice roster of a pretty nice cast of characters playing in this game. And I want to go through the players just to let you all know. And I added graphics for their photos just so you're aware of who they are. I know that sometimes it's difficult to know who everybody is, and you're like, who is that that's participating? I don't know who this person is, and yada yada. But we're going to go down the list of everybody who is playing on both Team Lieberman and playing on Team Miller. And also a thing to note is that every player that I am mentioning, every player has declared for the WNBA draft, okay? Now, will all of these players get drafted? We don't know, all right? We do not know. But we do know that they have all declared for the WNBA draft. We'll ultimately see what happens. I think a good amount of these players will get drafted, very likely. But again, the purpose of this game is to get in front of GM and say, hey, you may not have seen me play this year, but I'm a hooper. I can make some stuff happen, right? And that's ultimately the entire point. That is the whole point of this thing. And also to give fans just another thing to engage with during the weekend of the NCAA tournament. But really, it is to try their best to get the best placement in the WNBA draft, and in some cases, just get drafted, period. Because there's some players that could be like a bubble player of sorts. They're good in college, but not everything translates over. Okay, let's talk about Team Lieberman. All right, first up with Team Lieberman, we have Allison Fertig. Allison Fertig plays for, and also, guys, I am going top to bottom. So in the top left-hand corner, we have Allison Fertig, who played for Wyoming this past year. She's a 6'4" center who has averaged 18.8 points a game this year and 11.6 rebounds a game. She shoots 57% from the field. Next up, we have Deanna Gaston, who played for the Auburn Tigers this past year. She is a 5'2" forward. This past year, she averaged 22.3 points a game, 7.3 rebounds a game, and shot 54% from the field. We also have Zay Green on that second line. We got Zay Green with the Alabama Crimson Tide. She is a 6'2" senior, or 6'2" guard who averaged 15.7 points a game this past year, 5.0 rebounds a game, and shot 46% from the field. Next up, we got Izzy Higginbottom. Izzy Higginbottom plays for the Arkansas Razorbacks. She averaged this past year 24.4 points a game, 4.7 rebounds a game, 3.7 assists a game, and 43% shooting from the field. She is a 5'7" guard. We have Makayla Jordan with the Mississippi State Bulldogs. She is a 5'10" guard. This past year, she averaged 16 points a game, 5.8 rebounds a game, and shot 41% from the field. Next up, we're going to talk about Sammy Pusis. She is someone who plays for South Florida, and she is 6'1" and is a guard. And this past year, she averaged 15.2 points a game, 3.4 rebounds a game, and shot 38% from the field. Did I not say Gaston is 6'2"? I thought I said that. Deanna Gaston is a 6'2" forward. All right. Next up, we got Makayla Jordan. I already did her. I did Sammy. Let's talk about Jewel Spear next. Jewel Spear is a 5'10" guard from Tennessee. This past year, she averaged 12.5 points a game, 2.8 rebounds a game, and shot 40.9% from the field. Next up, we got Harmoni Turner, one of my favorite players in this upcoming WNBA draft. We have Harmony from Harvard, so she's smart and she can ball. She averaged 22.5 points a game this past year, 5.4 rebounds a game, and shot 43% from the field. She's a 5'10" guard. We're almost done with this first team. We got Alyssa Utsby, who is a 6'1" guard from North Carolina. She averaged this year 10.9 points a game, 9.5 rebounds a game, and she shot 45% from the field. And finally, we have, wrapping up Team Lieberman, we have Ayrault Von Lay of Baylor. She's a 6'3" center who averaged 14.9 points a game, 5.8 rebounds a game, and shot 58% from the field. So that is Team Lieberman, okay? Hopefully I gave y'all at least a little bit of information about him. My goal really was to make sure I showed faces of these players just in case y'all have never seen these players before. Now you can see what they look like. You can see who they are. And that way on Saturday, you'll kind of know who you're looking out for. And I also wanted to just share their point totals. Here's the deal. Points are not built equally. Okay, so someone averaging 20 points in the Ivy League is not the same as someone averaging 20 points who play in the SEC. It's not the same, right? There is a difference. However, I still did want to walk through it through their numbers just to kind of give you all a sense. But keep in mind where these players play, the teams that they're on, and the conferences that they are in to help you kind of put in perspective what exactly their stats mean. Okay, all right. Again, hopefully this is helpful. I hope it is. If it's not, let me know. Because truly, the whole point of this daily show is to dive deep into certain stuff and to give y'all information that y'all may not find anywhere else. And the whole thing is I want to make sure that it's actually useful. I want to make sure that that the information I give and whatnot is actually news that you can actually use, not just random news. All right. So again, let me know. And also, guys, in terms of height of these players, I got that specifically from ESPN. Now, maybe it's possible that some of these players are lying about their height, but the height I got specifically from ESPN. So Harmoni Turner is listed as 5'10" on ESPN. Toya believes that Harmon is 5'7". She may be 5'7". She may be, but on ESPN, on ESPN.com, she is listed at 5'10". Okay. Now, again, there are a lot of inconsistencies when it comes to heights. Like Alyssa Peely, for the longest, they were saying that she was like 6 foot or something like that, and we all know that she's well under that. So like, I wouldn't believe all these heights. You know, when these programs are telling ESPN the heights of these players, I wouldn't always believe it. But I am just saying the official height as seen on ESPN. So it could be wrong. It could very well be wrong. Okay. W. Bazil says subtract 2 inches is the rule. Because people be lying about their height. People be lying about their height. Peace Love Jen says it is helpful, Quita. I was curious about your thoughts related to the All-Star game. So this is great background before Saturday. Perfect. I am happy that this is helpful. Okay. All right. So, all right. Let's talk about what channel. Oh, this is helpful. What channel is going to be played on? I am like fairly certain it's ESPN. Hold on. Let me double check. Just 1 second, guys. ESPN2. All right. So the game is on Saturday, April 5th in Tampa at 3 p.m. Eastern time on ESPN2. All right. Thank you for that question. That is a fantastic question. All right. Next up, let's talk about Team Miller. Team Cheryl Miller. All right. And for Team Miller, we got some really good players on this team as well. We got Julia Ayrault. I am bad about her last name, but she plays for Michigan State. She is a 6'2" guard from Michigan State. This past year, she averaged 14.4 points a game, 7.3 rebounds a game, and 42% from the. And also, not only am I saying their height from ESPN, I'm saying their positioning on the floor from ESPN as well. So like, you know, there could be some players who play in a position of forward, but they're listed as a guard. Let's keep going. We got Khadija Faye from Pitt. She is a 6'4" forward, and she's from Senegal. Fun fact. She has averaged 19 points a game this past year, as well as 10.2 rebounds a game. She's shooting 48% from the field. Next up, we got Diamond Johnson representing the HBCUs, representing Norfolk State. She is a 5'5" guard, and this past year, she averaged 18.9 points a game, 6.1 rebounds a game, 4.1 assists a game, and shot 47% from the field. Next up, we got Dazia Lawrence from Kentucky. She is a 5'8" guard who this past year averaged 12.9 points a game, 2 assists a game, and shot 46% from the field. Next up, Megan McConnell, who is from, I always get very confused with the name of this, how to pronounce this team. But anyway, she is from a mid-major. She's a 5'7" guard who this past year averaged 18.4 points a game, 7.2 rebounds a game, 5 assists per game, and shot 46% from the field. Next up, a player that all of y'all know really well, Lucy Olsen from the Iowa Hawkeyes. She is a 5'10" guard. This past year, for the Iowa Hawkeyes, she averaged 17.9 points a game, 3.6 rebounds a game, 5.1 assists a game, and shot 43% from the field. She is entered into the WNBA draft, and ultimately, we will see where she lands. And I think playing in this All-Star game is really going to help her numbers overall. Next up, we got Madison Scott. Madison Scott from Ole Miss. She is someone who this past year averaged 11.8 points a game, 5.1 rebounds a game, 3.7 assists a game, and shot 46% from the field. 2 more left to go for Team Miller. We got Shyanne Sellers. Shyanne Sellers has dealt with some injuries this past year, but she has been doing her thing. She is a 6'2" guard from Maryland. This past year, she averaged 14.4 points a game, 3.8 rebounds a game, 4.1 assists a game, and shot 46% from the field. She is someone who can definitely get going. Let's go through the heights again. Julia is 6'2". Khadija Faye is 6'4". Diamond Johnson is 5'5". Dazia Lawrence is 5'8". Megan McConnell is 5'7". Lucy Olsen is 5'10". Madison Scott is 6'2". Shyanne Sellers is 6'2". And then we have we have Makayla Timpson, 6'2", forward from Florida State. This past year, she averaged 17.5 points a game. Rebounds, 10.6 rebounds a game. She shot 54% from, okay? So those are the stats of some of the players who play for Team Miller. Again, guys, just a reminder, you all can catch this game on Saturday. I am not sure if I will be live for that game, but I definitely will watch it and keep you all up to date about what is happening for that game. In addition to what is happening on Saturday, there will also be additional players who are participating in All-Star Weekend. And that is Lexi Donarski from North Carolina, O'Mira Gordon from Florida State, Madison Hayes from NC State, Kitty Henderson from Columbia, Jordan Hobbs from Michigan, Molly Kaiser from New Mexico, Esmeralda Morales from Montana State, Michelle Onye from Cal, and Kelsey Ramson from Georgetown. They are participating on Friday for an all-star combine. Okay, so those are players who are not participating in the actual game on Saturday, but they are participating in a combine on Friday. So again, just because you didn't make the all-star game, you still have the ability to get your name out there, get your face out there, get what you can do out there in front of GMs during that combine. So that is something to note. And also, everybody I mentioned has declared for the WNBA draft. All right. And just because someone is not participating in this does not mean that they're not in the draft. Like for example, Anissa Morrow is one of those players. She's not participating in this because she doesn't want to. Paige Becker is not participating in this because Paige is playing in the Final Four. But even if she wasn't, I don't think she enters into this. Right? Kiki Ira-Finn is a player who is not entering into this because it's pretty well known that she is going to be a lottery pick. So like not everybody who is eligible is participating in this. Just like last year, there were a ton of players who did not participate in the All-Star game. So yeah, that is something to note. So again, this is all about getting players in front of GMs and whatnot. Peace Love Jen says this is definitely a great opportunity for these players to get more visibility. Yeah, absolutely. Yes, this game is on TV ESPN2.